and welcome to Bristol Health Cares. I'm your host, Kurt Barwis. I am the president and CEO of Bristol Health. This program is for you. It's really about how you navigate the system of care, how you access care, and it's really about trying to answer questions you may have and really didn't know who to ask. We are going to bring to you professionals, doctors, surgeons, other healthcare professionals throughout our system of care, maybe people that you've never talked to before or met before, but the goal is to really help you understand how to access care when you need it. You're going to enjoy this program. This program is really for you. So what's important is if there is something that you want to learn about or know about or a guest that you'd like me to host on this show, write us and we'll try to make that happen for you. So enjoy the program, Bristol Health Cares. Hello and welcome to this episode of Bristol Health Cares. I am Kurt Barwis, I'm your host, and I am the president and CEO of Bristol Health. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dominic Dait, and he is a graduate student. He's finished his graduate program. He's doing a residency program at Bristol Health. He did his program at Scranton. So tell me about yourself, Dominic.
So I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania. I went to the University of Scranton where I did my undergraduate. Then after 4 years of getting my bachelor's in health administration, I decided I wanted to stay there longer and get my master's there. After I got my master's, I needed to, well, I'm still finishing up my master's, but I needed to find a residency somewhere. And, that's how I got here at Bristol.
Yeah, so in that program, because it's interesting because I get this question from a lot of people is like, how do you become a hospital administrator? How do you get into hospital administration? And it can happen a whole bunch of different ways. I mean, you can get there from experience, from just being in the environment, but you've literally said to yourself, I want to be in hospital administration, some aspect of it. Got your undergrad degree, now you're going on for your graduate's degree. So what made you want to do that? What was your motivating factor?
Yeah, so when I first started at the University of Scranton, I actually wanted to go for physical therapy, and I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't enjoying the clinical side of things. I obviously appreciate everything that goes into the clinical side, but after doing it for one semester, I realized that I really did not enjoy my balance of doing schoolwork with everything outside of school, like being able to keep up with my friends, being able to exercise,
Yeah.
And after doing that for a semester, I thought I still wanted to be able to help people in some sort of way, but I knew the clinical side wasn't the right route for me.
Yeah.
So I came across health administration. After talking with the professors in the department at the University of Scranton, I was able to have one-on-ones where I can get a feel for their experience, kind of figure out that that's the route that best matched what I wanted to accomplish in my life, and then also kind of what my skill sets were. So again, I thought that I would do better from a managerial side, kind of doing things behind the scenes in healthcare versus really that clinical side of things. And after I did it for about a semester, I decided to make that commitment to health administration.
So now here you are. Did you do any other residencies, or is this like the big?
So I did an internship in my undergraduate at a nursing home. For a short period of time, that was the only experience I had in healthcare. So I thought that was what I wanted to do. And then after being in school for another 2 years after that, I thought, I should probably branch out a bit, get an experience in other areas, and really figure out if nursing home's really the route I want to go. And after kind of speaking with people in the field, speaking with my professors, decided I don't really want to commit to that. I really want to just branch out again and kind of feel for what there is in a hospital setting, maybe in other settings. So, I'm kind of still in that setting where I'm figuring out what I want to do, but I would say I'm definitely leaning towards hospitals, especially with the experience that I've had so far here.
Yeah. I think you actually emailed me, if I remember correctly. Did you email? You found me in a directory somewhere and emailed me.
Right. So when I was looking for somewhere to do my residency, I went on the ACHE website because that was a department that I was part of, was ACHE. So they have the list of everyone that's part of ACHE, and I came across your name, kind of located you with Bristol Health. Did my own research into what Bristol Health was, the hospital. When I found out that it was a very small community community-oriented hospital and healthcare system. That was something that really stuck out to me and was something that I was interested in. You know, growing up, I went to a high school that was on the larger end. I was in a graduating class that was like 900 kids, you know, and after having such a big experience, I knew that when I was going off to college, that I didn't want to be in a setting any larger than that. I was like, I already enjoy this type of setting, you know, not any smaller, but I don't want to go to a larger setting either. And I really enjoyed my experience at the University of Scranton as well. So when I was looking for somewhere to do my residency, I thought that when I came across Bristol Health, kind of matched up with everything that I was experienced so far in my life, with again being very community oriented, a smaller organization. So I thought that this would be a good experience for me.
So talk about your experience so far. Like how long have you been at the hospital now?
So I've been here about a month. Feels strange being here a month because the first week I was only here like 2 days, had another day off like the second week. So, you know, I've been here about a month. Doesn't feel like I've been here that long, but it's been a very good experience so far.
Yeah. So you've gotten to visit different departments, round on departments. So talk a little bit about that, you know, the diversity of, you know, your experience in being introduced into our world, so to speak.
Yeah, it's been a great experience so far. You know, I've been able to go to various meetings with Albert in strategy. I've been able to shadow people in the storeroom so far. I was doing clinical rounds yesterday to really get that clinical side of things because, again, I don't come from any clinical background at all, so it was good to see how everything works from that perspective. You know, I think that if you're going to be in an administrative position or any type of managerial position in healthcare, you really need to have an understanding of how everything works. So even if you're not going to be in the clinical side, it's nice that you have an understanding of how everything works, so that when you're making decisions, you understand how those impact those people that you're making decisions for. So far it's been really nice to kind of get that experience shadowing people, being able to ask plenty of questions because, you know, I, again, don't have a clinical background, so I have plenty of questions of how things work. The 8 months prior to when I was here, I was actually a patient access rep at Geisinger, which is a healthcare system in Pennsylvania, where I was doing that along with being a full-time graduate student. So I was able to get some experience kind of on the front line there and seeing what it was like to work with Epic. And now that we're here at Bristol, we're using Meditech, so it's kind of cool to see how the relationship works between different healthcare, electronic health records. So that's been a good experience so far. You know, I think looking forward, I'm really excited about going to different departments. Again, I've had the pleasure of being with the storage room so far, being on the clinical side. You know, I'm looking forward to being with the HR side of things. That's something that I'm very interested in. So I'd like to see what kind of work I can do with HR, hopefully be able to help on different projects there and, you know, really get some experience with every department at the hospital.
So how much longer do you have with us?
So I'm going to be here for the next 6 months. So I'll be here till December. Once I complete my residency, then I'll officially have my master's degree and go from there.
So this is literally the last thing you need to do to get that diploma.
This is the last big step.
Wow. And do they count this as like a credit course for you?
It is. Yep. So it's like
it's got to be like at least, you know, 100 credits, right?
Oh, that's, yeah. I should know that answer.
So here you go. Here's the gating question though. Do you have to pay for those credits?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Even though you're here.
Right. I found that out in April. Wasn't too pleased.
Well, no, I guess somebody has to oversee it back at the campus, and they,
right.
You know, anyway. So that's pretty good. So after 6 months, you know, where do you think you're going to go? What do you really? It's a really amazing environment because there's so many places you can enter. There's so many ways you can advance. One of the keys, though, is of course having the advanced degree, because in healthcare, generally speaking, it's almost like required to have an advanced degree, and I think a lot of it has to do with how patients kind of view the environment. There's an expectation that you go to the highest level possible in terms of your education, and you have this knowledge because, you know, what we do to people is dangerous at times, right? So, you know, people get sick, we make them better. They want to know that the credentials are what kind of makes them feel comfortable when they walk in the door. So you think geographically this is the area you want to be when you finish? You know, what are your thoughts about how you approach the next part of your life, which is the job search.
Right. Yeah, I would say my biggest goal with this residency is to really be able to dip my toes in everything here so that I can get an understanding of what am I good at, what am I need to improve upon, what areas do I enjoy working in. You know, again, the only experience I have working is as a patient access rep, which is a very different experience versus
It's a difficult job.
Oh, right.
I mean, you have to know all those insurances. I mean, when I think about what patient access does today and what they have to know, it's a daunting task. I mean, and they typically make it look really easy. You walk in, you give your insurance card, you say hello, and they're filling out what, like how many fields on those screens at one time? It's the hundreds by the time you get done, and it's so important. But yeah, so talk to me about geographic, and it doesn't matter where, you just no constraints.
So, you know, long term, I'd like to move back home at some point. My family's from Pennsylvania. My girlfriend, her family's from New Jersey. So looking long term, I'd like to relocate back there at some point in my career.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be lying if I said that's definitely going to happen or something that, you know, I don't know what the future holds. But in terms of the short term, the next 3 to 5 years, I would say, I'd like to be in this area. You know, again, my goal with this is to really figure out what I'm good at. And after this experience, hopefully have an idea of where I want to start my career. You know, I'd like to think that I'd want to stay in a hospital, but I don't know that for sure. So kind of get an experience here and figure out, again, what I enjoy doing, where I want to be moving forward. But yeah, I'd like to geographically be in the same area here in Central Connecticut. Yeah,
it's okay, that's a good sign. So we could think about that as you get closer to your finishing your residency. But I say this to graduate students all the time, you know, focusing on what makes you happy, focusing on, you know, where your heart is. This is what, like, and you've already gone through this kind of analysis in your beginning of, I was going to go for physical therapy, and then I decided that's not where my heart was. I want to do this, but you really, I think you have to love what you do. Like, I don't look at what I do as a job. I feel it's like part of who I am. It's calling. And that's like, to me, that's like the holy grail of, you know, work-life balance and everything, because, you know, when your whole environment, you know, so your home life, your personal life, and your work life are a source of happiness, and, you know, you like doing them, it's a better life. I could tell you, it's a much better life to be that way. And plus, by the way, if you're happy, then the people around you tend to be happy too, because, you know, you're not bringing them down and making them miserable. So,
absolutely.
So I feel, and I'm at the end of my career, but I can tell you there's many times when I've had to, you know, kind of broach that thought of, well, I really want to do this, but it's going to mean I'm going to have to move a lot. And then it became, I want to do this, and I'm going to have to move, and my wife's going to have to move, and my kids are going to have to move, which even gets harder and harder and harder. But I think the real important thing to understand is accelerating your career, accelerating your life dreams, your goals, and being, you know, geographically constrained can be a limiting factor. And it can limit you in terms of finding the right culture that you want to be a part of, finding the right kind of organization. Like, you know, I assume when you came to Bristol, you know, one of the things that you readily kind of acknowledged in your mind was the kind of culture of the organization. Did you feel welcome? Did you feel like, you know, immediately accepted? And so I think as you go forward, you know, getting what you want, setting those criteria is just as important as getting that first job, right? Getting that first out of the gate job where people, you know, are really liking you, taking an interest in your development and advancement, things like that. But so maybe you've been here for almost about a month now. So I say almost because you had some days off in there, right, but which is kind of good. But tell me about the culture at the hospital, because you've had exposure, quite a bit of exposure. So what do you think? I mean, you're talking about HR, you're talking about the human resource side of the business. What's your take on Bristol Health?
So far, I would say it's been a wonderful experience. You know, one of the things that I took away from that first week was that everyone was so very welcoming, very receptive. Everyone reached out and made sure that I knew their name, made sure that they they let me know that, hey, if you need anything, reach out to me. If I can help you with anything in your career, let me know. So that's been very nice, very welcoming. It's been very easy to reach out to people. I don't feel afraid to go to people's offices, knock on their door, have a conversation with them. Everyone's walking around smiling. Everyone's very, very driven towards the same causes, which is something that I think is very important when you're in any healthcare organization, really. So it's really nice to see how everyone works together, I would say that one of the best things that I had, at least going into this, was that when I had my conversation with Albert, he made it known that, hey, this is something I went through. I have an idea of kind of what you want looking forward through this residency. So I'm going to do my best to tailor this experience so that it's something that you can gain a lot out of. And out of having my conversations with Albert so far, it's been great. He had me go to a volunteer golf outing with him the first week I was here, so that was great.
Well, that sounds like fun.
There.
Are you a good golfer? I need to know that in case I need somebody to help.
Terrible golfer. Right. Oh, I have a great
because I can't play either. But
that's right.
It's a great thing to have people on the team that can play. It's kind of fun because it keeps things moving.
We'd have a good time.
So good. I'm glad I'm here to do that. So you talked about the American College of Healthcare Executives. You use the acronym ACHE, but the American College of Healthcare Executives, and I know at the University of Scranton, it's a very strong, chapter there. There's a tremendous amount of engagement, and you've kind of used that to help you on your journey. So talk to me a little about that. The American College. Why is it so strong at University of Scranton, and what does it mean to you in terms of like how it's going to get you to your next stop, next place?
Right. Well, I think it's a great resource to have. When I was at Scranton, it was something that my professors really pushed us to be a part of, really pushed us to take part in going to various events. You have the ACH event at Chicago every year. That's something that they really push for you to go to. There are various competitions for case competitions you can go to that are associated with ACHE. It's a really good opportunity for you to meet people, kind of get more experience with healthcare. You're going to meet experts in the field that you would have never met had you not gone to different events. Again, it's how I was able to get this opportunity, I'd like to think. Without that, I wouldn't have found your email out there and been able to reach out to you. So I think it's a great resource to have, and I would encourage anyone that hasn't, or anyone that is part of it, to use what you can from those resources.
So I assume then you're going to plan to go to become a fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives.
We'll see. I have great examples. I got Albert here. I have examples of other people that have really made good use of that. That's something I want to be more a part of, is part of the CTAHE chapter here, and go to those events again, be able to branch out and really network with people. So it's something I look forward to.
Yeah, for me personally, I don't think I would be where I am today without the American College of Healthcare Executives, which is why I feel very strongly about engaging with students like yourself, helping them, giving them, the feedback that I can about my journey. I'm a finance guy. If it wasn't for the American College of Healthcare Executives and me becoming a fellow, which redefined me. So I'm a CPA, which I never put in as a credential anywhere. What I use is fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives. And I think what people in the industry understand is having a CPA says you're a certain level of a finance accounting person, right? And then fellow of the American College is a similar credential. The test was incredibly difficult. I don't want to scare you away from that. You're going to do fine, especially the HR part was the hard part of the test. But so it is a credential that, in my opinion, if I didn't get that, I wouldn't be sitting here today, because people saw me as the finance person, but once I did that, they saw me differently as the healthcare administrative executive, and it truly helped me kind of transition. So my whole thing here is just encouraging you to stay engaged in the American College, because you're going to meet people. People are like across this country are just more than willing to help students, graduates who want to advance and are willing to put the time in and have the energy and want to have fun doing it at the same time. You're going to find you could land anywhere in this country and you're going to find individuals, and actually Canada and other countries as well, that are just completely engaged and willing to help you and reach out and work with you. So it's kind of it's really good, I think, for the viewing audience to kind of understand, especially that, I don't know that hopefully there's students like yourself. There are actually 5 higher education programs in Connecticut for health administration. 5 is a lot for a small state, for a state with 3.5 million people. And it's exciting because, as you talked about the local state chapter, the engagement is just incredible. And they have branched out, the graduates have branched out all over the place, all over this country, and are, I think, going to be the future healthcare leaders of this nation too. I mean, it's really incredible. So now you have us for another 5 months, and I'm sure Albert and the team have, really kind of outlined some exciting things for you to do. What are you looking forward to the most?
Well, we have various projects that we've already talked about. I think the one that's coming up soonest that I'm looking forward to is the Leadership Think Tank, where we develop all the corporate goals for the next fiscal year. So that's something I really look forward to. It'd be interesting to see what the different leaders in the organization think should be priorities with our organization moving forward. So that's something I really look forward to.
Yeah, it's, innovation, imagining, and connecting, we do a community health needs assessment, and we're constantly trying to reevaluate what does the community need that we serve, what access to services can happen locally. That think tank that happens really is about taking all those concepts and ideas and wants and needs and synthesizing it into, all right, what are the big priorities for us for the next year? What are we going to focus on? And it's there's a whole bunch of analogies out there that people talk about, when you set goals. I remember somebody saying it's, when you think about a ballerina and how their posture is just perfect, they imagine this kind of rope pulling up from the center of their head, and it creates this alignment in their body. And that's almost the same thing with an organization. If you can really articulate something very clear, it makes a lot of sense to be able to spend the time and do that. So, Dominic, it's been great talking to you today, and I think this is going to be very helpful to a lot of individuals out in the community. So thank you for being here, and thank you for choosing us for your residencies. Really appreciate it. This is Bristol Health Cares, and this is another wonderful episode. I look forward to getting your emails at cares@bristolhospital.org with any suggestions you have about future programs. And I want to say a special thanks to Nutmeg TV for producing this program. The team here is extraordinary. It's a great community asset, so please support Nutmeg TV. Thank you all, and have a wonderful day. I'm your host, Kurt Barwis. Today, I have a very special guest, Dr. Andrew Lynn.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Wooden.
Decision for ourselves for this week, if we want to be made well.
Hi, welcome to the crack of dawn. It's Dawn Lombardi. I'm starting the painting. It's going to be the cliffs with some water. Love it.
He took me on the sets of Lost in Space, Batman.
Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time.